Okay, so the tool I'm going to be showcasing here today is this router bit over here. It's made by Blue Tornado. I bought this at Busy Bee. What it is, it's a dovetail bit and has a 14-degree angle on it. So I'm going to put that in my router table and we'll start doing some cool stuff. Let's go. All right, so before I go to the next clip over here, I just want to explain a little bit what I did with these grooves over here. So obviously I'm done with my dovetail bit on my router table, but the spacing on them is different between the top groove and the bottom groove. So I'll go into that a little bit. So the way that I calculated the spacing is I put a piece of tape on my adjustment knob on my router table, and the distance between the top groove and the middle groove is 4 complete turns of that knob. And the distance between the bottom and the middle is just 3 turns. What that does is just gives you a different effect. I mean, if it would have been exactly the same distance between all 3 grooves, like, it would have looked a little bit meh to me. This makes it look a lot better, a lot more professional. That's why I've done it that way. I guess next up is going to be our tip of the day brought to you by me, Gabriel from Matt Out, remember? Anyways, today's tip is pretty simple. I want to move my miter gauge from my table saw to my router table. The issue is that the T-slot on my table saw is slightly smaller than the one that's on my router table. So there's going to be a lot of slop there. A lot of slop. Just a lot of slop moving around. Sloppiness, slop. So the way I'm going to fix it is pretty simple. With some tape. Painter's tape. That's right. All I'm going to do is just wrap it around there a couple of times. And if it doesn't work out because I put a little bit too much on there, you can always take a little bit off until it just fits right in nice and snug. It's going to take away that slop, and then you have some nice proper angles. That's right. You're going to be able to do those things that you always want to do. Stop things from moving around, get that proper angle, and get back to the project. So let's go back to the project, back to the project, back to the project, back to the project, back to the project. right, so before I cap this off and call it a project, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the dovetails and how I set up my router table. I basically just set it up for it to be at 1/2 inch and left it there for the entire project pretty much. So I started off with the dados. Then when I did the lats that go inside of it, I just kept the same setting and just put a fence there to put it where I needed it. And then it's pretty simple. These are just boards that I, cut off off the camera. Pretty simple things to do. They're 1.5 inches. I'm just gonna put it in there and put some pin nails. Just gonna hold on for the glue to set in, and then yeah, pretty much all over.